From the moment we are born, we are thrust into a world filled with infinite possibilities, but also one that comes with its own sets of rules, values, and structures. These influences begin to shape us even before we are aware of them, guiding how we interpret the world around us and forming the foundations of who we will become. The early years of life, often overlooked in their significance, are a time when our minds are most malleable, open, and receptive. The first 7 years are a period where the mind operates in a state of wonder and curiosity, absorbing every detail of its environment with the wide-eyed innocence of a child. It is in these precious years that the core of who we are, the beliefs that will guide us for the rest of our lives, are formed. It is a powerful thought, isn't it? That before we even have the ability to articulate complex ideas, we are already shaping the framework of our worldview. Our minds during this time are like sponges, absorbing every interaction, every emotion, every response from the people around us. Our parents, caregivers, and immediate community become our first teachers. They are not simply teaching us words or numbers, but something far more profound. They are teaching us what it means to be human. We learn how to love, how to fear, how to trust, how to doubt, all based on the experiences we encounter during these formative years. These early experiences are like seeds planted in the rich soil of our developing consciousness. And as we grow, these seeds take root and shape the very core of our being. When we think of beliefs, we often think of ideas that we have chosen consciously after reflection or reasoning. But in reality, many of our deepest, most fundamental beliefs are not chosen at all. They are imprinted on us during those early years. They become the lens through which we see the world, often so deeply ingrained that we do not even recognize them as beliefs. They simply are. They become the unquestioned truths that guide our thoughts, decisions, and actions throughout life. Whether we believe the world is a place of abundance or scarcity, whether we see ourselves as worthy of love or constantly doubting our value, whether we trust others or approach them with caution, all of these core beliefs are shaped to a large extent before we even reach the age of 7. The mind of a young child operates in a state that is almost hypnotic in its receptivity. Brainwave studies show that during these early years, children operate primarily in a theta brainwave state, a state associated with deep relaxation, imagination, and learning. In this state, the subconscious mind is wide open, absorbing everything without the critical filter that we develop later in life. It is in this theta state that children internalize the beliefs and patterns they observe in the world around them. They do not analyze or question these beliefs. They simply accept them as truth. If a child is surrounded by love, support, and encouragement, they will internalize the belief that the world is a safe and nurturing place and that they are capable of achieving great things. On the other hand, if a child is exposed to negativity, fear, or instability, they may internalize beliefs of inadequacy, fear, or mistrust. This is why the early years are so crucial. It is during this time that the foundation of our self-concept is built. A child who is consistently told they are capable, intelligent, and loved will grow up with a strong sense of self-worth and confidence. They will believe in their ability to overcome challenges and pursue their dreams. Conversely, a child who is criticized, neglected, or made to feel small will grow up with deep-seated doubts about their value and abilities. These beliefs, formed so early in life, can be incredibly difficult to change because they are woven into the very fabric of our identity. They become the stories we tell ourselves about who we are and what we are capable of. And these stories often go unchallenged for decades, if ever. It is important to understand that these early beliefs are not always formed through explicit words or actions. Often, they are absorbed through the unspoken dynamics of our environment. A child may never be told directly that they are not good enough, but if they grow up in an environment where perfection is constantly demanded, or where their efforts are never quite acknowledged, they may internalize the belief that they are always falling short. Similarly, a child who grows up in a household where money is a constant source of stress may internalize beliefs of scarcity and fear around financial matters. Even if no one ever says, money is hard to come by. These beliefs are absorbed at a subconscious level, shaping our relationship with the world in ways we may not even realize. But here's the incredible thing. While our core beliefs are largely formed in those first 7 years, we are not prisoners to them. The beauty of the human mind is its capacity for growth, change, and transformation. As adults, we have the ability to reflect on our beliefs, to question them, and to reshape them if they no longer serve us. This is the essence of personal growth. The recognition that while we may have been shaped by our early experiences, we are not defined by them. We can choose to reprogram the beliefs that hold us back, to rewrite the stories we tell ourselves, and to step into a new version of ourselves that aligns with the life we truly want to live. However, this process requires self-awareness. It requires us to take a step back and examine the beliefs that are guiding our lives. What are the core beliefs that shape the way you see the world? What are the beliefs that govern how you see yourself? Do you believe that you are capable of achieving your dreams? Or do you harbor doubts about your abilities? Do you believe that the world is full of opportunities? Or do you see it as a place of limitations and obstacles? These beliefs, often formed in childhood, may be so ingrained that we do not even realize they are there. But once we become aware of them, we have the power to change them. The journey of personal transformation begins with the recognition that our beliefs are not set in stone. They are simply ideas, patterns of thought that have been repeated so often that they feel like truth. But just as they were formed, they can be reformed. This is where the power of intentionality comes into play. When we become aware of a belief that no longer serves us, we can choose to replace it with a new, more empowering belief. This process is not always easy. It requires patience, persistence, and a willingness to confront the uncomfortable. But it is always worth it. As we reflect on the beliefs formed in our early years, it is also important to acknowledge that many of these beliefs were adopted out of a need for survival. As children, we are incredibly adaptive, and we learn quickly how to navigate the world in a way that keeps us safe. If we grow up in a volatile environment, we may develop beliefs that help us cope with that reality, even if those beliefs do not serve us in the long run. For example, a child who grows up in an environment where conflict is constant may develop the belief that it is safer to avoid confrontation, even as an adult when standing up for oneself might be necessary. These survival beliefs may have served a purpose in childhood, but as adults, they often become limiting patterns that prevent us from living fully. Understanding this allows us to approach our early beliefs with compassion. Instead of judging ourselves for the beliefs we hold, we can recognize that they were formed in a time when we were doing the best we could with the information and resources we had. But now, as adults, we have the power to choose differently. We have the power to question those old beliefs and replace them with new ones that align with the person we want to become. Think about that for a moment. The person you are today is a result of the beliefs you have held about yourself and the world. If you want to change your life, you must first change your beliefs. It is not always about changing the external circumstances, but about shifting the internal beliefs that shape how you perceive those circumstances. When you change your beliefs, the world around you begins to change as well. You begin to see opportunities where you once saw obstacles. You begin to believe in your ability to create the life you desire, rather than feeling like a victim of circumstance. This is the power of belief. It shapes your reality in ways you may not even realize. So as we consider the idea that our core beliefs are formed in the first 7 years of life, let us also remember that we are not bound by those early years. While they provide the foundation, we are the architects of the structure that is built upon that foundation. We have the power to redesign, to rebuild, to create something entirely new if we choose. But it all begins with awareness. Awareness of the beliefs that have been guiding our lives, and the decision to replace those that no longer serve us with new, empowering beliefs that align with the future we desire. In this way, the first 7 years of life are not just a period of passive formation. They are the starting point of a lifelong journey of growth and self-discovery. We can honor the beliefs we formed in childhood, even as we recognize that we have the power to transcend them. Our past may have shaped us, but it does not define us. The beliefs we hold today are simply the result of thoughts we have repeated over time. And with intention and effort, we can choose to think new thoughts, to form new beliefs, and to create a new reality for ourselves. This is the ultimate freedom. The freedom to choose our beliefs, and in doing so, to choose the life we want to live. And so, as you move forward from this moment, I encourage you to reflect on the beliefs that have shaped your life up until now. What stories have you been telling yourself about who you are and what you are capable of? What beliefs have you inherited from your early years that no longer serve you? And most importantly, what new beliefs will you choose to adopt moving forward? The power is in your hands. You are the author of your own story, and at any moment, you can choose to rewrite the narrative. You can choose to believe in your limitless potential. You can choose to see the world as a place of abundance and opportunity. You can choose to believe that you are worthy of love, success, and happiness. Because the truth is, you are. You always have been, and now it is time to believe it.